right. Thank you everyone for joining me in this Time to Talk session. I'm so glad to be sharing my experiences about this very busy and slightly overwhelming conference with you today. And I look forward to our discussion when the talk is concluded. Let me begin by sharing my agenda for this talk. So I'll start by telling you a little bit about the conference and the kind of attendees I met while I was there. I'll then go into detail about two of the most interesting aspects that I experienced at Bett 2024, namely the Tech Ed and the Table Talk sessions, which were about the incorporation of AI in the classroom and how to improve and facilitate student mental health awareness, respectively. And finally, I will conclude this Time to Talk by discussing my takeaways from the conference and how I think we can maybe implement some of them going forward. So to begin, what is Bett? So the conference I attended took place in London. It's a global community for education technology that sparks ideas, creates connections, and accelerates trade, driving impact and improving outcomes for teachers and learners. This conference was an opportunity to meet with vendors, tech companies, students, educators, multinational government representatives who wish to discuss, expand, and promote the future of education in the world. This year, the Bett 2024 conference attracted over 30,000 educators, policymakers, and industry changemakers, with over 600 edtechs, 400 speakers from 123 countries. It also created an environment of exceptional learning with the addition of EdTech and other innovation exhibition platforms that allowed conference attendees to explore the right solutions for their needs in the classroom, collaborate with like-minded educators, and connect with the people who bring it all to life. I attended a number of EdTech sessions, but the ones I found most interesting and what I will be discussing here today are the sessions that featured experimenting and learning how to use AI in education. This was a very hot button topic at the conference, and I attended booths sponsored by Google and Lenovo, all of which incorporated AI in one way or another. One of the key benefits of incorporating AI into the classroom is the ability to provide students with a more personalized learning experience. AI algorithms can analyze student data and adapt to their learning styles, providing feedback and recommendations that are tailored to meet their individual needs and abilities. This can help keep students engaged and motivated and can lead to improved academic performance. This is especially the case if there are just one or two students who are struggling in a classroom, and it sometimes is difficult to adapt it just for them. AI can be a solution to help in those situations. The first stall I visited was Microsoft Copilot, where users were given the opportunity to play around with its features and visualize how it might be helpful in its practical application. Microsoft Copilot is a tool that uses generative AI with which you can create lesson plans, quizzes, rubrics, and other class resources for any level of learner. Generative AI is a newer piece of technology and a unique category of AI that focuses on creating new content. With generative AI, you can generate new content like text, images, code, or audio. It achieves this by learning patterns from existing data and understanding the context and intent of language. This provides the user with new opportunities for content creation, personalization, and innovation. Because this technology is creating new content, it is necessary for the user to check for accuracy in generative AI constantly. Microsoft Copilot can be used to support personalized learning by helping create content, tailored feedback, and guidance for students based on their individual needs and learning styles. Copilot can help to brainstorm new ideas for activities, lesson plans, supporting materials, and assignments. It can help plan lessons by suggesting or drafting activities, resources, and assessments that align with learning objectives. Copilot can also be used to create rubrics for these lessons. It can help draft initial feedback and ideas for students on their work, which can be edited and personalized for your students. It can also help get quick answers to questions without having to read through multiple search results. Copilot provides links to content sources so we can access the source to dive deeper into the original content or look at alternatives. What I learned from my time navigating Microsoft Copilot, and I apologize if any of these seem obvious, I just noted down the information that was most helpful to me. So the first was to structure the prompt, to break down complex tasks into smaller parts. Instead of asking the AI to draft an entire lesson, request an outline, and then request smaller parts of that outline with specific sections. Iterate and refine. The first response from the AI may not always align perfectly with expectations. Don't hesitate to rephrase the prompt, ask follow-up questions, or provide more context based on the initial output. Combine expertise. AI is a tool that is meant to enhance and streamline work, but it should be overlaid with suggestions with using the user's educational experience. AI can suggest content, but the educator decides the best way to edit and present it to their audience. The second TEDx session that I want to discuss is Canva for Education. Canva for Education is specifically designed for creating engaging lessons and run activities for students in class or online. A little bit of a caveat, it is free technology. However, it is free for K to 12, which is basically for just the schools. However, they do have a free basis to trial the program, which I highly recommend you try. You can choose from thousands of ready-to-use educational templates. It creates engaging lessons and activities using images, fonts, videos, animations, and editing features. You can reach and motivate students wherever they are, share, review, and give feedback on their work in real time. Deliver fun and impactful feedback by adding text or visual sticker comments. Canva can also be easily integrated in all go-to classroom tools and learning management systems, including Google Classroom and Moodle, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, the common things that we use at UTokyo. There are loads of features that use AI that are included in this program that I found particularly helpful, like Draw, which converts sort of scribbles into actual formatted images, layouts, magic design, text to image. I'm going to briefly talk about their most recent and possibly their most significant one, which is called Magic Write. It is a copywriting assistant powered by OpenAI for Canva docs that helps to ease writer's block and makes writing quicker by generating text based on your prompt. In the session that I attended at Bett, I used Magic Write to draft parts of this presentation, including its design. Canva prides itself on its rigorous security in all aspects of their platform. With the launch of Magic Write, they designed and implemented a variety of safety measures to ensure the technology was as useful as possible while helping everyone write confidently and ethically. These include reviewing input and output and reducing bias. The integration of AI technology into the classroom presents a range of challenges, such as data privacy and ethics, the need for ongoing training and support, and the potential for unequal access to technology and digital skills. However, it also has great potential to provide students with personalized and engaging learning experiences, as well as help them develop important 21st century skills, such as critical thinking and problem solving. This makes it a worthwhile endeavor to slowly start incorporating into the way that we as educators think about lessons, classwork, and homework, at least to start with. It's certainly not at the state where we can fully implement it into the way we teach, but we can definitely use it in the planning stage, if not more than that. The next item I want to discuss was the topic of my TableTalk session, which was mental health awareness for students. TableTalks were a new feature of Bett 2024 And this innovative program connected individuals from schools, universities, and governments based on their primary topics of interest. Participating in this roundtable discussion, I was able to learn, grow, and debate with like-minded individuals in a sponsor-free environment. The discussion at my table revolved around our students' mental health and well-being and strategies for faculty and staff on how to cope with the growing cases of student mental health issues. University students are amongst the fastest growing demographic that face mental health challenges year on year. On average, 1/3 of university student dropouts are for mental health reasons. It has also been found that the mental well-being of students is lower on average than the rest of the population. Being able to track, monitor, and improve student mental health is key for student success, satisfaction, and their future. Our table talk session discussed how to cope if your students' mental health was declining further and what new strategies we could use to prevent this from happening. Some participants suggested social prescribing in university as a great strategy to do this, as well as to help students become more proactive in managing their health and well-being. Helen Rowland, the Associate Director of the University of Southampton Student Support, explained how they co-designed student hubs for every campus at the University of Southampton to create better facilities to seek support. They made sure all their student hubs do not look clinical to allow students to feel comfortable. In order to make it easier for students to contact support workers, they have also streamlined their communication so that there is constantly one central phone number and email address to help students get the support they need. Students using these hubs then have the opportunity to work with their coordinators and well-being practitioners to get the help they need and the support which matters to them. Another point we discussed was how to better facilitate channels of communication between the students and the institution. Communication with students should occur through a wide variety of channels to ensure as many individuals as possible receive the message from one of their preferred methods of communication. These may include university-wide emails, social media platforms, academic advisors, clubs, student leaders, professors, course curricula, resident assistants, coaches, trainers, and educational and social events. Communications may be the most effective when incorporated into existing health and wellness campaigns using written, oral, and visual formats. The more students hear and see about mental health, the more it is normalized and the more they will talk to each other about it, seek out and complete training, help others, and seek help for themselves. The use of student testimonials and storytelling may help further reduce stigma and increase help seeking as students relate best to their peers. The burden of mental health promotion and suicide prevention is often placed on college counseling centers. However, many students are not comfortable seeking help from formal counseling centers due to stigma, family and religious beliefs, cultural or ethnic beliefs, a previous poor experience with formal counseling, inability to relate to therapists, and environmental factors. Therefore, it is important to encourage all sectors of the university to ensure that every student is being reached and supported. This type of public health approach should include the health center, student body, faculty, staff, clubs, academic advisors, academic department heads, student affairs, and the larger community. Academic departments and their faculty and staff play a major role in student well-being and can influence students in positive ways, including help seeking. The other issue we discussed was mental health awareness training, with our major conclusion being that an institution's responsibility doesn't end by just making training available. It also has to be integrated into academics and student life and followed up with resources and support. Providing access to optional training will do little to train students, faculty, and staff in mental health and suicide prevention. Mass emails, continued outreach, and promotion on social media will only result in a small subset of the campus community completing training and acquiring the knowledge and skills that the administration hopes they will gain. Mental health or suicide prevention training should become a part of the set of annual trainings required for faculty and staff. These trainings could include QPR, question, persuade, refer, applied suicide intervention skills training or assist, and or cognitive virtual simulations. QPR is a 1-hour training that instructs participants to recognize the signs of a suicidal crisis and how to question, persuade, and refer someone for help. Individuals trained in QPR reported increased knowledge and self-efficacy for interacting with suicidal individuals and were better able to engage in active listening, ask clarifying questions, and make appropriate referrals. Assist is a 2-day interactive workshop in suicide first aid that teaches trainees to recognize when someone may be thinking about suicide and to create a plan that supports immediate safety. Cognitos college-specific simulations teach students, faculty, and staff about psychological distress and how it could impact them and what to do if they're concerned about others. To facilitate the completion of these or other trainings could be made a part of the required coursework, incentivized through extra credit or housing lotteries, or integrated into freshman and transfer student orientation. Though a campus may provide many services and supports, it is important that all students have access to information about key services at their fingertips. At minimum, this should include the number, website, and hours of the campus counseling center, the number of any campus peer support hotline, suicide prevention lifelines and crisis text lines numbers, hotlines which effectively lead to active rescues and connections to mental health services, helplines for substance abuse and sexual assault. Some campuses have included this critical information as part of all course syllabi, while others have placed it on campus ID cards. Colleges and universities have limited resources, which have only been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, and lack of staff time and budgetary restraints often hinder mental health efforts. Active collaboration with external organizations and the outside community may help to alleviate this burden. Establishing a relationship with local mental health clinics can be beneficial in addressing future issues around care for students. My final thoughts on the conference. The provision of mental health services in college counseling centers is not sufficient to meet the ever-increasing mental health needs of college students. A multi-pronged public health approach is required. This approach should include universal prevention efforts through messaging and classroom instruction, promotion of free mental health, substance use, rape and sexual assault prevention resources, training of students, faculty, and staff in risk identification and referral, routine screening, assessment, and intervention, and provision of a wide array of easily accessible services, both in and outside of college counseling centers. I hope to implement some of the strategies discussed during this table talk when dealing with my own students' mental and emotional struggles and challenges. I myself have undertaken 2 of the prescribed trainings that I only learned about while attending this table talk. And it's useful, I think, for educators to do that, to be able to identify when a student is struggling and at least to make a foray into that conversation, even if the institution hasn't mandated any necessary training. I hope that larger solutions can be implemented on a grander scale by the University of Tokyo, and this is something that I'm happy to bring into notice when called for on a larger scale. As for the different types of EdTech that I saw, I've been experimenting with both Copilot and Canva, and not just for this presentation, but also when coming up with lesson plans for the next semester. I don't know if I will be using any of it as part of my coursework and implementing that my students use it for their homework, but I can clearly see its applications and can hopefully speak more to them as part of my duties in my new faculty role in the next semester as a member of the AI and Teaching Practices Review Committee. Thank you very much for listening to me.